How's it going? We are back for another episode of insert podcast name suggestions. No, stoppage times. We're going to get into the Carabao Cup final that just happened today, get into some other Prem results, and looking back on some of the second legs in the Champions League knockouts. Um, Today, obviously, Ali's not with us, but we're going to keep this one a little bit brief because international break coming up, and frankly, I'm super tired. So, I guess we can kick it off with Carabao Cup final today. I already know how I feel. I don't, do you want to maybe share your thoughts?
Um, I figured I'd let you rant just so I don't hit a soft spot, and
No,
I'll just what I agree with.
my team hit my soft spots today. The
Nothing to
team,
give.
yeah, I got really nothing new to say on it. I mean, I can go, but yeah, I mean, basically, it's a performance that we have seen multiple times, many a time this season, and it's something I've been harping on about for a while. Like, just so blunt sometimes going forward. Like, I didn't feel that City feared us very much at all after like the first 20 minutes. We had a couple good chances, but what not a very good performance, not a comprehensive performance, and the second half was entirely City's. I mean, we hit the post a couple times. Calafiori hit the post a couple times. Jesus had a looping header that hit the crossbar. But I mean, honestly, after that second goal went in, the game was done. Um, and I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Arteta a little bit on this one. Um, the players themselves need to ask some questions, maybe look in the mirror a little bit too, I think, because it was, the typical cohesion, at least like, defensive solidity was not there like we normally see. Um, Kepa, man, get him out of this club. It's like that that is,
The
you know, we
Chelsea
talk
plant.
we talk about sackable offenses with managers. That's a sackable offense as a keeper in my mind, especially because like we know what this guy does specifically in this competition in a final. He has a very bad record. Um,
I feel like it was pretty like flip of a coin though, because like he's been playing every game of this competition so far, right?
yeah,
And that's hard to take away from your goalie. So I saw Arsenal fans going into this game saying they wanted Kepa to play, that he earned it because he's gotten you there.
I
And
don't even.
in retrospect, it was the wrong decision, but like before the game, if I asked you, would you, Kepa's done this for you, would you keep him there for just today? I feel like you
I
would say probably, because I feel like that was the
That's well, I can tell you, I wanted Raya to
saying.
start. I wanted
Yeah.
Raya to start. Like,
But the smart thing is to put your best lineup out no matter what. But even
you
City
know,
had Trafford in goal.
yeah, but I'd kind of honestly rate Trafford a little higher than Kepa.
Oh yeah, Trafford's a good talent.
He's a good keeper, man. I mean, he's young, but he's a good keeper, and they brought him in to be the number one,
They did. And
honestly.
he got gypped.
Yeah, kind of. But like I even disregarding what City do, like City don't need this like we do. City don't, this is Pep's fifth Carabao Cup win. We know what they've done in the last 10 years in this league, in this country,
Mhm.
and in Europe. And
We know this competition. It's a show of depth up until the final. And once you get to the final, there's no reason to throw it because you're not saving yourself game times. There's no more games after this, so you might as well throw out the strong lineup to win.
yeah, and I mean, international break is coming up now. Uh, I think after next week, is it?
Mhm.
I think, because we
I think
have,
it's for us. I think it's right away, but I'm not
well,
sure.
yeah, I mean, we have FA Cup next Saturday, and then I think that's when our break
Right.
starts. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you had asked me before the game, I would have said Raya. I was think, I heard stuff back and forth, and journalists and stuff saying, some were saying it's going to be Kepa, some saying it's going to be Raya.
Yeah.
Um, and like I get, if it's a situation where it's like Arteta told Kepa, because this goes around a lot too.
I'd go back even further and say it was probably in his signing on. Like he probably didn't
Yeah.
wouldn't have agreed to come to Arsenal if he didn't have those tournament games.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
in his
yeah,
contract.
basically. So, and if it's that situation, fine. But, and it's hard for me to say like, oh, don't promise him that because, you never know if you're going to end up in the final. You never, you don't know what's going to happen, who's going to be injured or what, so
Hmm.
it's kind of, it's not, it's, I can see why they would do that. And if he's asking for it, then fine. But it's just, I I don't feel as confident with him in net, obviously, and I think that our defense doesn't feel as confident. I don't think our attack, like the entire team, it felt to me like we weren't building out like we usually do. It felt like a little bit more stiff. And look, I mean, he's not the only reason that we lost today, because there was plenty of other wretched performances on the field.
Hmm.
But I, with
Hmm.
the way that we've basically played the entire season, I kind of feel like if you don't give City that game, if you don't give them that goal, and maybe we ride out the pressure that they were, mounting in that second half, like, you never know what could happen. It could be different, but Raya, I'll tell you 100% does not make that mistake.
Right.
And it's a
There's
bad
nothing
one.
you could do about the second one though.
No, yeah,
That came from people dropping their heads and
yeah, but
City
but
finding that solution.
yeah, but that's the thing, is like that's the difference with Raya, even against Leverkusen, against Spurs a couple weeks ago. These last second, last ditch saves that just bail you
Mhm.
out. Like it gives your defense, like it gives the whole team confidence, because it's like we we have a get out of jail card with this guy.
Mhm.
He gives us that extra, 1% we might need to get over the line. And when you're confident and you feel more free like that, you don't have to be as worried,
Yeah.
about protecting the goal. And you defend differently, you play differently, you build out differently, because Kepa, or I mean, Raya's distribution is way better with his feet and his hands.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you that it probably starts from Mikel Arteta and like a mismanagement. But I look at it as like two halves because the first half was pretty even. I felt like just both teams were Arsenal was defending well at that time. City were having a really hard time getting Holland to produce, is what it
yeah,
felt like. And then you guys were having a hard time. You were defending well, but when it came to breaking out and that build up from breaking out, it didn't really lead to much. It was too slow.
yeah.
So
And
it was two teams that had a different problem, and City figured it out in the second half. They said instead of playing two Hollands, they would use him sort of as like the bait, and they would play off of the space that he's creating almost. He's your number one mark, right? Two guys are going to be looking to stop Holland no matter what, and that leaves a gap that got exploited by the left back.
yeah, and yeah, and like I said, there's plenty of other performances that were well below, the standard. I mean, Ben White was horrible today. I
Mhm.
thought he was awful.
He looked rusty. I don't know how much game time he's been getting.
Not much. And, I sort of can't blame him too much. I mean, if Timber was fit, Timber plays
Mhm.
100%. I'm a little bit shocked that he didn't go for mascara, actually. Um, because
Over who?
that's over Ben White at right
Oh,
back.
at right back. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, in the Everton game, a week or whatever ago, um, that's who he went to when Timber got hurt. And, you know, at that time, a lot of people were probably thinking, that's sort of a negative move to make because he's not the best going forward. Like, you would think like Ben White might give you more of a chance to go and win that game.
Hmm.
Um, but it worked out, and it seems like Arteta is always trying to stop the other team before he's thinking about how do we get, how do we
It
beat them?
it looked like he got it half right because like look where City's like just been struggling. Like they struggled against Real Madrid, they struggled against United. It starts from that 4-4-2. Like I felt like Havertz playing the 10 was the correct decision. I feel like maybe I texted you earlier, like they needed someone with pace up top to be the breakout man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even mind if it's not Gyökeres and it's like Havertz paired with like Nani or somebody up top with just anyone with pace who can help you break out. But
Yeah, I mean, I
because that's what Madrid did. They sat the 4-4 in the back, and then Vinny was just up there to clean up anything they could handle. But
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I still think like, despite the depth we have, I still just don't think we have like we don't have PSG offensive depth. We don't have Barca
no,
offensive depth.
I think it's actually pretty lackluster for you guys. I would be a little bit worried almost as far as
Yeah,
left wingers, even with Saka
Soccer, yeah, that's he's
with
another one,
Nani.
dude. Horrible today. Horrible. He since this new contract, he's done nothing really.
Hmm.
And aside from a deflected goal against Brighton, which is like, 9 times out of 10 that doesn't go in and we draw that game or lose that game. So it's just, yeah, he was not good at all today. Trossard was non-existent. Declan Rice kind of, did his normal thing, but he's stretched too thin sometimes, trying to,
Yeah,
play box to box,
Trossard looked like he was showing his age a little bit. Like, are you comfortable with him starting games still? As far,
As far as the rest of the season goes, yeah. I mean, I can't not be. It's not, there's no choice. Like that was what
Mhm.
we're pretty much stuck with, just because Martinelli, I feel like, has given us more off the bench. Um,
And I almost feel
and
like Trossard would give you more off the bench just because he'd have that 30 minutes to be that impact maverick that he typically is. But
yeah, maybe I don't know. Bottom line, I don't think we have enough attacking quality, or at least they're not performing to the levels that,
mhm.
I think that they should be. So. I think
Yeah,
there's concerns for next year, honestly. I think I'm
I,
still,
I don't see you guys buying a striker and or a right winger, so it's got to be hoping that Saka comes back into form and buying probably two left wingers, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I would be fine if Martinelli and Trossard go this year. Um, I would be fine if we let Nani go after a year. That won't happen, but
And that won't happen.
I'd be
He's
fine
been
with
here
it.
for a
But
bit.
I think the right wing next season is I don't know. I think it could be honestly a bit of a patchwork between Nani, Saka, Dauman, and um, maybe even Ethan Waneri when he gets back. I don't
Mhm.
know. Um,
Where's Moneri been playing for Marseille?
I couldn't tell you honestly.
Mhm.
I think the 10, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I mean, there's concerns for sure. I mean, honestly, this result doesn't really like affect my outlook on the league and the rest of the season.
At the
Team,
end of it just sucks. It's not what you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to impact anything down the line. I don't think.
I don't think so. I will say though, there was, in that second half, it felt kind of like 22, 23 in terms of like even how I felt. Like I felt like I was transported back 3 years, and I was like
I
I
don't
was just
think
like,
played that spectacularly either.
no, I don't think they did. I mean, I think it was probably one of their better performances in a while.
I
I
think by not pressing them enough, you gave their creativity players too much, I guess. I don't know, too much time to express themselves. Like we saw Doku and Cherokee just absolutely taking guys on every chance they get. It was like you guys were begging them to find a solution that wasn't Holland. It was like because that's been City's problem is like when they can't use Holland, nobody's been stepping up, and like it was 90 minutes of just asking somebody to show that you're worth it to Pep or
Yeah,
something.
and that's the thing too. It's kind of complicated because I don't really think like they were better than us for sure. In just in general, especially in the second half. But I don't think they really like broke us down that
No, you
bad.
guys were really compact.
Like even the goals they score, the first one's a mistake. The second one basically is just somebody lo
It's miss man, like the tall guy on short guy kind
Yeah, but just I mean, just not yeah.
of
It's a marking issue.
marking
It's
is what it
it's not
was.
like yeah. It's not like
It
a
was
fundamental.
what's his name? The left back. You freeze?
O'Reilly,
Oh no.
Eve, can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Um,
Yeah, O'Reilly. Yeah, I mean,
O'Reilly
yeah,
on Saka. Like Saka's not a defender. He's not going to be the guy muscling him off.
yeah. I mean,
And
that kind of thing can happen. I just think it was, what really stood out to me was it felt like a breakdown from the team, and it felt like it did a couple years ago. Where it's like we're just not going to beat these guys today. Um,
yeah,
which is
if you had to
concerning.
lose though, this is one for it to happen, and not probably the more important games down the line.
Yeah, I mean, like, as long as we get to the Premier League, I honestly could not care less that we didn't win this.
Hmm.
Um, but it's more of just like it's a representation of a lot of the things that I've been concerned about this season with us. In the way that we play, in our mentality, in the way that Arteta sets up, in his, tactical outlook on things and how he wants to win games. I don't think we're set up great for cup competitions, and I think that our record under Arteta in cup competitions
I just
shows
think he
that.
was stubborn, and the play like when he maybe attempted to change, the players didn't know what to do exactly.
I don't know. I just think like it shouldn't. It felt like it was going to take us 45 minutes to like really gain some momentum and get into the fact that like we got to go get a goal now. And we only had 30 minutes left by the time we're 2-0 down. It felt like it was going to take a whole half for us to like get through the gears and get going. It didn't feel like we could just you know turn it on and increase the intensity when we need to, and that's a concern for me for sure. I mean, I like I said, I'm still pretty confident that we'll be okay in the league. We'll get it done, but this didn't help. So I'll tell you that. So, if we come up against Bournemouth in a couple weeks and it's not looking good, I'm not going to be surprised, and I'm not going to, you know, that's going to make this result look a lot worse. So we really need to, get it together for this last couple months. Not many games left. Just get it done. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a sour one. I They are my least favorite team up there with Chelsea. I hate losing to them, and
Spurs aren't worth thinking about right now.
yeah, no, they're not even on my radar, which is yeah. Speaking of which, maybe we can get into some
Segue
other
back into the Prem now.
yeah, get back into the other results because I'm
All
tired of
right.
thinking about this.
So let's look at the table right now, and we'll see that United's remain in third despite dropping points this week, which is a miracle that both, let's check the form, every team beneath us decided to drop points this week as
Yeah,
well. So United's
Villa
really
won,
bad.
right?
Villa won, yes,
Yeah.
which is good for them.
So you're I have something like 7 or 8 points above Chelsea now, I think.
I want to say we're 2 games above Pool, 3 games above Chelsea.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. I mean,
And
well, do you want to get into the United game?
there's not much to talk about. It's sometimes they go their way, sometimes they don't. That was an example of like how Cunha had that penalty that was a little shaky the other week.
Hmm.
Like this is kind of that. Like Ahmad got two-handed thrown, like even the way he fell, he could tell he wasn't simulating because who falls on the fucking ball like that?
Yeah.
Like that didn't even look fucking comfortable. And the possession goes down, they counter, and they score. I mean, I understand that the ref doesn't want to give two penalties to one team. It's like, but VAR should be checking that, at the expense.
Yeah.
And then he gives it a penalty for that to them. That's the same thing that happened to Ahmad. Even it's just there wasn't consistency, and that's all as fans we ever ask for is we just want consistency, and it just wasn't consistent. But I'm happy to come out of that game with, at least a point.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, given the state of things, I feel like both in the title race and in the Champions League race, like
Yeah. It
it.
matters a lot for like all the teams. Like the decisions just have to be correct or
Yeah,
consistent.
but
Yeah.
I think honestly though, like not losing is huge.
Yeah.
I
Not
think it's
having
gonna.
Harry Maguire getting his first red card in 4 years, that's it's gonna hurt without him because we don't have any healthy center backs. Licha De Litz might be out for the season with a back injury still. I think it like got re-aggravated when they were trying to reintroduce him in training.
Okay.
Like those are our two best center backs, and they're inconsistently, they're always injured. And Harry's injury prone too. It's we have these injury prone center backs, and we should be looking this summer to bring somebody in who's a starter just to keep it like a steady ship at all times. And they're not going to do that. Like they just gave Harry a new contract. Like we didn't need Harry Maguire to stay. We needed a 60 million pound center back to sit in front of Licha, who in the best case scenario can play on both sides. But Lenny's decent cover for Delit. I'm not really worried about the right side, but we have nothing on the left side.
Yeah, I mean, are you still pretty comfortable? I mean, obviously the points difference would suggest that you would be, but are you still pretty comfortable with third
Making
being
top
locked
four.
in? Yeah.
Um, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I never expected Liverpool and Chelsea both to lose another game. Like I thought they would turn their form around a little bit. Not so much Chelsea. I mean, losing 3-0 to Everton. I could never have told you that would happen.
Yeah,
They put out a strong lineup too.
they look bad right now. I watched that game and they were not good at all.
It
And
looks like a mutiny again, like these players are just giving up on this manager.
I kind of don't blame them, and I think that I kind of hope there isn't just because I like laughing at Chelsea and I like when they're not good. But
Yeah.
it seems like I'm pretty sure they have a protest going on next month, like a fan protest at the stadium against the owners.
I
And
mean, it's a perfect example of how not to run the club.
yeah, it's appalling, honestly. I
And
mean,
I hate that United kind of like copy them a little bit. Like we have a certain amount of respect for how they buy players that they can resell later because it's like
I
good from
don't,
a business point of view, but it's bad for winning the league. It really bugs me.
yeah, I don't really see you guys doing that though. I kind of honestly, like, at least to me, it kind of seems like you just have bad recruitment, but
It's
not under the guise of like making a profit. Like
right.
I don't really see you guys bringing in like Ugarte and Hoyland and Anthony to sell that guy on, like Chelsea are buying no names out of South America
Mhm.
and, wherever, bringing them in from Strasbourg or, whatever feeder team they have. And these guys, I mean, like one in six of them is decent. Like, what's
Yeah.
the kid on the right wing? The Brazilian kid.
That's
Um, Esteval, yeah, like one in six or whatever are decent. Like he's a good player, but everybody else, they're bringing in from like the 18 to 23, 24 range. It's just like
Chelsea
who?
just had really like zero success with their signings. Pedro was like their only decent one.
Yeah, I mean everything else you knew. I mean, what? No team, and it's I mean, okay. it's a little hard to say because we went in for Madueke, but that wasn't like Madueke wasn't
But
the
Nani's young and English.
but
He's a desirable player.
he wasn't the top bar of the signings we made. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I understand that. We
Like
wanted cover for
Chelsea,
Saka that wouldn't
yeah,
upset.
Chelsea brought Chelsea brought in two left wingers who are both young and unproven,
Mhm.
and um,
Both
they
have done
brought
more harm than good.
yeah, honestly, they brought in two strikers again, both young and unproven, and I mean, given João Pedro's done pretty well, but Liam Delap has almost canceled it out because he's
Yeah,
just been
honestly.
horrible. He's not
Thank
a good
God.
player.
He was
And
our number one target too, and the only reason he went to Chelsea is because we didn't have Champions League.
yeah, so and they're
Forever
about
grateful that that happened.
yeah, they're about to not have it now. So, all these signings defensively too, these guys that they've been there for a couple years now are just nowhere near it. And the goalkeeping situation is a mess. Even in midfield, I'm still not convinced on Enzo. I think I'm coming around to Caicedo, but
I think Enzo wants to leave. I think he's kind of proven himself this season in the Champions League, especially. Like he's had a good run of games that like Europe has seen. I think I was teasing Ollie, but Madrid are going to go in for Enzo.
I maybe, but
And there's
it
more
just
Cole Palmer to United leaks too, which I'm not going to believe until it happens. But
yeah, but even him, like he's not been. I mean, I don't know. You never know. Maybe a change of scenery could change things up for him, but
I
he's not
mean,
been good for a year and a half.
I wouldn't say he
And
hasn't been, he's been not what Chelsea fans think he is. Like they think he's a world class, gets into any team, God who
well,
creates something from nothing. Like he's
he was that is my point though, and he's now not. Like it's similar to soccer. I see them both put kind of in the same spot right now, where it's like, yeah, it's been you've been unfortunate with injuries, but to some extent, like how do you bounce back from that? And neither of them have really been able to do that. And it's maybe it's not their fault, but that's just how it
Mhm.
is. Like I can't call you. I can't. I'm not going to adjust how I'm seeing your performances based on the fact that you might be carrying a lasting injury or something like a lingering knock. I can if you're playing, I can only judge you on how you play, hurt or not. So I just yeah, I think it's a mess right now between not so much you, but Liverpool, Villa, Chelsea. Like it's
I think it's two mutinies because like you look at Liverpool, you see it's the same thing. Like they have a decent squad. Like they have a good squad. It's not as good as their squad was last year, but they still have a good squad. And
so
you
I'm
saw your
listening. Oh yeah, I'm
okay.
listening.
Um, there's no way they're doing this poorly. Like Brighton's not a bad team. I know going into anyone going in against Brighton, Brighton could just fucking outpossess you, out direct possess. They've always had this style that's like it's impressive and fucking I just look at their squad. I'm looking at Milner and Welbeck and like Liverpool shouldn't be losing to this team. Isn't Milner an ex-Liverpool player from 2 decades ago? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, the guy's like 38 years old.
I
Um,
Liverpool should not be losing that game.
yeah. I mean, I don't. There's some bug going around the Premier League right now. I don't know what it is, man, but like
They're all
it.
screaming sack Cody Gakpo.
Well, yeah. I think it's interesting. Like, I kind of feel like I feel like Chelsea has had this weird effect that they've like spread this bug that everybody seems to be catching with like managers and it's just the way that like ownership treats their coach now, and like
Mhm.
the way that coaches treat it trickles down to how the coaches treat the players because the coach's job is in more jeopardy than it would be normally for a
And I,
guy who just won the league,
and I
like
look at United and I think like this is the perfect time to reset and like because we're a level playing field now. Chelsea are shambolic, Liverpool are shambolic. Like they're making us look good, and like this is our chance to improve upon already being like a step ahead.
I see that a little more with Chelsea. I still think Liverpool are a couple signings away from being a really balanced team again.
Oh, I think so for 100%.
Like I think there's a little bit more legwork that needs to go into Chelsea and United and like a Villa. Um,
Oh, I
but
agree. We still need
but
to overhaul the midfield, which is probably going to happen this summer, and we need to overhaul our center backs and
yeah,
outside
I
backs.
mean, if Liverpool bring in a couple center backs and maybe another attacking option on like the wing on the right or the left, then it's a different discussion.
They spent 70 million on a center back in January. He just got hurt the second he signed.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy right now. Things are all upside down, and I just think that we might be in for a really eventful summer, especially with the World Cup. I think managers are going to be flying around. I
We're gonna
think
have to sign these
players,
guys early. Like I don't want to be
yeah.
waiting
Well, that's the thing though, is you run the risk of
injury, I
yeah,
guess.
injury
You also run
mainly,
the risk
and
of them losing the player. Like you can't wait the whole summer on waiting for a player to finish the World Cup unless you know they're absolutely coming to your club.
yeah, I mean, you pretty much need the deal done ahead of time, and you
Like
just
say United go in for Elliot Anderson and he's like, I'm gonna wait till after the World Cup to make my decision, and we miss out on him. He goes to City. What's left for us? Like we didn't move fast enough on backup options or stuff like that. It's like I don't know.
yeah,
Do you remember
I
what the
don't.
window was like last time we had a World Cup?
Well, the last World Cup was mid-season, so
Oh, right.
um, yeah. I mean, I would be surprised if there's a lot of signings going on. Players in the World Cup getting signed. I'd be kind of surprised. Um, I mean, I don't know. I I don't see like I don't at least from like a value standpoint of the players, I don't see it changing much with the World Cup like it usually does, like maybe a Cucurella or something, you know, with Spain, all of a sudden his value shooting way up kind of thing. Um, I I think teams are going to be forced to be a little bit more, you know, teams like Liverpool, I think are going to think twice about, maybe dropping another couple hundred mil. Um, Given what they've done and how that's worked out for them, with like Isak basically. I think they're going to try to be a little more, shrewd and smart, maybe go for more of a no-name player that can, like a Mascara kind of bringing into, to help out the defense rather than going and splashing 70, 80 on, a big name center back. Um, at least that's what I would do. That's what I would be thinking if I was Chelsea, United, Liverpool in this situation coming into the summer. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's really hard to even look forward to not knowing who's going to make Europe, so that's going to be a big factor. And it's going to be a big factor in who's coaching these teams too. And that's going to then again affect, recruitment, even for you guys. I mean, going into the summer, if there's a possibility that Liverpool, Chelsea, and United don't have a manager going into the World Cup. There's a real chance, depending on how it goes for Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Um, Even
I
if it
mean,
goes well for Chelsea, Rosinha could be gone. Like
I mean, especially if United are going to go for Germany's manager or something like so. Like just like as an example, if we wanted Nagelsmann, who's coaching Germany, he's not going to sign for United until after the World Cup, which means
yeah, and
we're not going
then
to have a preseason.
yeah, you're not gonna have a preseason. You're not gonna have, your players aren't gonna have preseasons. The ones that you are able to get in, it's gonna screw with a lot. And I think continuity is gonna be a big deal going into next season, which is kind of why I feel like, it's gonna be another iteration of Arsenal slash Liverpool slash United at the t or City at the top. Just because it's like those are the teams that are going to be the least affected by the
Mayhem.
transfer mayhem and the transfers and the coaches and all that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
I mean,
yeah,
my hopes for United is we need to maintain the quality of a top four team with multiple competitions, which means we need to bring in depth. and we need a left winger, Jan Diamonde, the talent from Germany. I don't know anything about him other than he's fast and he's like an Ahmad profile. Um, I'd love Gordon over him. Like I'm a big fan of the Premier League proven players just because I know they're effective. Like Gordon's got what 10 goals in the Champions League. Like come on. That's a no-brainer. It's just arguing with these teams about just getting them in. Like any player from Newcastle is going to cost 70 million. They don't want to give
Right.
up their players, but their players want to leave. So it's like how do you not have a whole summer long battle with these clubs that don't want to give up their players? Every player at Newcastle is going to act like Isak. They're going to miss their whole preseason begging to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure to see what happens in the summer.
And I
I'm
think
not
everyone in the Big Six wants a Newcastle player.
Yeah, I mean Kamara gets into pretty much every team.
And that's who we've been linked with.
Tonali gets into
We
every
had talks with
team.
Guimarães' agent already.
Yeah, I think that would be a good signing for you.
I think they're more likely to get rid of Guimarães than Tonali. I think they're going to fight like hell to keep Tonali.
Um, well, in the interest of time, do we want to shoot to Champions League stuff briefly and call it a night?
Is it even worth talking about?
And maybe just super quickly.
Yeah, let's do
Um,
it.
I just think
PSG
obvious
Liverpool.
yeah, I think more looking into the next round is more what I was thinking. But yeah,
Mhm.
so the matchups are yeah, PSG and Liverpool is going to be an interesting rematch. Um, Real Madrid and Bayern is I think it's going to be really entertaining. It might be a Bayern blowout. That's what logic would
People
tell you
think
probably.
Real
But
Madrid are a different team in the Champions League. Like you never know.
yeah. I mean, you could get what happened last year where they go out to us 5-1, or you could get, they show up and beat a city team that just beat
Mhm.
us pretty handily. So you
I
never know
look at
what's going to
Madrid's
happen.
starting lineup and I'm not impressed as far as what a Real Madrid team should be. Like I'm maybe terrified of like four of their players and then the rest seem rather average. Rudiger's past it. Huijsen's a Bournemouth center back. Like Carreras is
Yeah.
young, Patach is young, Arda Güler is young.
Yeah,
It's
and then I mean, on the other side of things, we've got Arsenal Sporting, which I think is going to be interesting given our form and given Sporting's comeback against Bodo Glimt. And then
Barcelona, Atletico.
Barca Atletico, another La Liga matchup. Um, I think is going to be interesting. We're going to see them match up in another two-legged tie this season, which, if I'm not mistaken, Atletico won pretty handily in like I think it was the Super Copa or the Copa del Rey. They beat
Is the next
Barca.
champs game after the international break?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
next round is April 7th and 8th.
Okay, so they have
So a
time.
couple
Barca have a ton of injuries right now.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't have to do any predictions or anything, but I think it's really up in the air with like PSG Liverpool. Um you just never know where you're going to get sometimes and I don't know. It's another one where you kind of feel like PSG are going to smoke them, but
Mm,
eh, you never really know. Last year was kind of the opposite. Liverpool finished top of the group or top of the league phase, and
yeah.
PSG, snuck in the playoffs, and PSG ended up winning the whole thing. So
Mm.
I think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a fight for form. Who goes into the game with the best form and the healthiest squad, I think will have the edge.
Yeah, but it almost feels like it resets for that second leg. The way we saw certain teams really bounce back. Maybe,
Mhm.
even City, like, they didn't get the result, and on paper it looked like they got demolished, which they kind of did, but it was mostly done in the first leg. Second leg,
Mhm.
if they keep, Bernardo on the entire game, if they keep 11 guys on the field and maybe bury a couple early chances, you never know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and then,
it gives the manager an like time to change the strategy of how you approach the game.
yeah, and obviously, if, like for us, having the second leg at home is a big thing. I think it definitely had an effect on the Leverkusen tie, and
Mhm.
after what happened away, and then coming home and getting the crowd behind things, and players looked like they had a lot more energy. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I feel like you can't even call anything anymore in terms of any locked on results, but um, definitely going to be looking forward to that coming up soon. So
Other quick news, Villa and Forest are still through to the next round in the Europa League. I think Palace is also through in the Conference League, so it's looking like the Premier League's going to receive that extra slot for Europe if things just keep going smoothly.
yeah, and it might not even be so much an extra slot in terms of like, it's not going to mean that like sixth place is going to get is going to get the spot. It's going to be, one of those teams who's a little lower. Unless it's Villa, then that would push
Well,
things
there's
down to
there's multiple
sixth.
ways to get in, so we'll get awarded another one for all of the English teams doing well in Europe. So it'll be
Oh
one through
yeah.
five, and then if England or if Villa win the Europa League, they have automatic qualification, so it would go down another one.
Yeah, and then the FA Cup could come into play too. Because I think
FA
that,
Cup is for Europa League, not champs.
yeah, but just in terms of European spots,
Oh,
just,
you're right.
I don't know.
Who's still in the FA Cup? A bunch of teams.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are City, Liverpool. Actually, City and Liverpool play in the next round, which is going to be a good watch. But
I hate that I'm fucking out of all these competitions.
yeah, it's well, hey, I'll tell you, you know what? The
Blessing and a
quad is
curse.
dead. March 22nd, the quad is dead. So we're out of 1-2 now. But um,
Best football team of all time is no longer in contention.
I nobody ever said that, but
Pierce Morgan did.
um, well, he's not a soccer guy. He's a British guy, but he's not a football mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, but anyway, um, I think we'll probably wrap it there. Got a little bit of a break. Maybe we'll get back next weekend after FA Cup games. Um, and then we got a little break until League and Champions League is back. So be on the lookout in the next, week and a half, 2 weeks for some more videos coming out. Hopefully Ollie will be back with us next time. And I think we'll leave it there. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, want to see more. Like I said, we'll be back soon with more videos, and I think we'll call it a night there. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Sweet.